What up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka the Barracuda Buddha, aka the Tang Topped Titan, aka the 110-time social distancing champion, aka the nigga lip master. Oh, that's gonna stay with me. Bringing you yet another episode of Switch Sites. Whoo boy, this is a week, if any. Elections are going on and whatnot. I found just a newfound amazement of disappointment and shame amongst particular supporters, if if you catch my drift, because my God, what has especially I can even give you like the benefit of the doubt, like trying to take a chance on even though I still have even difficulties then, but I can even give you a little bit more leniency that way. But the fact that what has been proven in the office already, and you think things will get better. So it's getting crazy out here. Businesses boarding up they windows and stuff, and understandably so, because either which is sad, but either way it's gonna be some chaos. Things are looking good, but you never know. I mean, you never know. It isn't over until the fat lady sings or something like that. I don't know. Either way, hopefully everybody safe, voted. Well, yeah, it's pretty much too late now if you haven't voted yet. Hopefully you did. I voted super early. At least that's how it was in California. Depending on your state, it was probably different or easier and or more difficult, which was, it's kind of messed up. So yeah, so I mean that's the world. We got the we just got yet another broke yet another record of highest highest COVID cases in a day. So everything's just going great. I just really need to I need a poster of the dog with the fire and everything, and this is fine, because that's been what, the past past 8 months now. My God. Somebody help us, please. Somebody help. Please help us. Either way. So yeah, that's where the world is going right now. On the good side, if there's any, really, if our world is even sustained until then, we are a week away from them new, shiny, sexy looking consoles. Xbox One. That's still a testament to Xbox's naming convention. Xbox Series X, Xbox Series X. It just rolls off the tongue better. I'm sorry, Microsoft, you did this to yourself. And PlayStation 5, Series X comes out the 10th. PS5 comes out the 12th. Pretty sure. So, hey, well, I mean, if you manage to get one, and or want to get one on release, good luck. Even though I did hear that at least Walmart, I think Target, at least those two specifically, they are doing like I think Target, well, they did announce that at least for PlayStation 5, they're doing online sales only for I believe at least for the PS5. I'm assuming the Xbox Series X may follow suit, but they're only doing online only online only orders for PS5. Target is I assume first come first serve, but I do like the approach that Walmart said they're doing, which is letting you they're doing tiered or rationed, I guess maybe times. So basically, I guess they're selling a set amount at like I forgot this time specifically, but I think they're like in 2 or 4 hour margins. Like I want to say 12 p.m., 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 8 p.m. Actually, let me give you the concrete dates. Give you them concrete dates just to make sure I'm not misguiding you. Yeah, 12 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern. So, 3 hour seems to be 3 hour margins between each. So that's a pretty nice approach actually. Just makes you think, why didn't they do this? Why the hell didn't they do this when the initial pre-orders came up? But hey, better now than never, you know? So yeah. Also real quick, man, it's one of the most wholesome damn commercials Walmart put out. They showed like this one dude basically this one, young adult just basically growing up and oh man, it's so heartwarming. So it's basically a Walmart commercial showing this dude at the time a young kid getting an Xbox, original Xbox, picking it up, and then he has a baby when he's getting the Xbox 360, and then he's like a fully grown, man with old, pretty much adult, or like a high school kid, and they're playing Xbox Series X together. It's just so heartwarming, and just the nostalgia and just making me feel old as hell. Like, my God, where has the time gone? No Dante though. Yeah. So either way, definitely got a pretty interesting show for you this week. So let's stop the dilly dallying and get right into it. So first topic of discussion, man. I'm only mentioning this specifically due to the, I guess, dumbness of it. Yeah, that's pretty much it, to be honest. Just the dumbness of it all. So apparently, from a Twitter user, man, that I am not pronouncing that. But let's say Zyliak. She was at a Best Buy where they had Series X and PS5 on display, and she said, or made a observation that for the PS5, I think somebody was playing it, and then she saw it. It showed the PS5 provide the error message that your PS5 is too hot. Turn off your PS5 until the temperature goes down. So, if somebody were to initially see this, of course, people say, "Oh my God, PlayStation's horrible. Oh, I'm not getting a PlayStation. Oh my God, just as horrible quality PlayStation. What are you doing? Blah blah blah." But if you look at the picture of the kiosk display, there's literally a glass display box where the PS5 is enclosed in, and the glass display box is ridiculously like the exact dimensions of the PS5. There's little to no room for anything at all. So, with that being in mind, yeah. So it's combined with it seems to be illuminated on the bottom. There doesn't look to be any visible ventilation. This presumably runs all day. So, yeah. I think if you maybe had some common sense, you might deduce that in that particular environment, yeah, the PS5 will probably get hot. Just a hunch. I don't know. Just a suspicion. Just call it a feeling in my gut, but yeah. So, um I guess breaking news, if you enclose a console, a gaming console that heavily relies on ventilation to operate, and you enclose said console in a very strictly enclosed environment with no ventilation and added heat, yes, your PS5 will get too hot. So, news flash in case you didn't know. Just putting that out there in case somebody may not, somebody who is I hate it. Somebody who was like really dead set on this, like, you know what? I'm ready. I got my enclosed PS4 space that I'm just gonna just set up just like it looks like in the kiosk. So I'm ready. I'm excited. And then this happens, and then they're like, Sony, you're the worst. Blah blah blah. I hate so blah blah blah. Mind you, I'm neutral either way. So this is not the Sony fanboy coming out or Xbox fanboy coming out. Any other scenario, okay, for sure, I get you, but it's like, what the you fucking expect? Ugh, that just irritates me. Just the my issue with this is the fact that the wrong people are going to be blamed, and you know how negativity just likes to be negative, that PS5 overheats. PS5 is overheating. First signs of PS5 overheating, but it's like, of course it's going to overheat in this particular scenario. You dumb. Sorry, that just irritating. Either way, I think you definitely don't blame Sony in this situation, because I'm pretty certain I actually almost had a job doing this back in college, where I think there are dedicated people that develop like kiosks for stores, and I'm pretty sure this situation was basically the developer like clearly had no idea how a video game console works, and just like, yeah, let's make this. Yeah, it'll be fine. Blah blah blah. The PS4 has got added ventilation now, right? Yeah, let's do that. And then then that's how this happened. I don't think PS5 is to blame at all. I don't think they have necessarily any say store wise in terms of the display of their console. But if anything, I think this will bring some awareness to maybe have some more control, maybe with their marketing department or something. But man, that is the dumbest crap I've ever heard. Like, it's just common sense, man. I'm just, either way, I'm sorry that this was maybe an excuse to rant a bit, but I think either way it is worth providing awareness for people that maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry, but these might be the same people that are Trump supporters that would, also believe this specifically about PS5 overheating and not checking all the facts. So, but I digress. Okay, moving on from that dumbass story, just to just to put that out there. I will be so annoyed that if this catches steam and like is on like major news outlets and like PS5 is overheating, the PS5 is overheating, and not actually stating this whole scenario like I did. So there you go. Moving on. Modern Warfare. Well, not really necessarily Modern Warfare, more so Warzone. So a lot of details came out since last episode regarding Warzone and like the future of it. Um, a lot of very surprising aspects actually. So I say the biggest thing is that um, there will be cross prestige. So basically, you can actually still play Modern Warfare as well as Warzone, as well as Cold War, which probably will be me. I'll probably, to be honest, especially how much I really loved Modern Warfare. I could actually see myself playing all three to some extent. Depending on how Cold War is, I'll at least try to get to max level or max prestige, whatever their perception of that is. I'll probably at least do that and then see how I'm feeling after that. How and maybe if I like Cold War more, Modern Warfare, we'll see. But this is pretty great, and it also will have cross play as well as cross platform play. So Xbox One people can play with Xbox Series X people, vice versa, and of course with the other platform families and stuff too. So that's pretty cool. Another major announcement that was leaked in not necessarily leaked, but straight up just announced through Reset Era was basically confirmation that the Warzone game will keep the same engine as currently it has with Modern Warfare. So essentially, Modern Warfare's engine will continue on to Warzone. So this it kind of like answers and it answers and presents more questions. I feel like because like so they did say and confirm that like all the guns in Cold War and Modern Warfare will be in Warzone. So that I feel like that presents a whole new like level of complexity to Warzone, which is cool for Warzone, but it's like how is all this gonna play out? Like in theory, you would think the Cold War guns might be better than the Modern Warfare guns just based off that fact because of since they're new guns. Well, how will perks work out? So like, Cold War has different perks, and then Cold War kind of somewhat has the doesn't really have the pick 10 system, at least going by the demo beta alpha beta. There's the demo system and not demo system, the wild card system, as well as some different perks than Modern Warfare. So it's like, how's all that gonna play out? Like, there's gonna be some clear winners. Like people are definitely gonna be getting like Ninja over, maybe some of the other former perks, and how is all that gonna balance? That's just very like fascinating to see how that's gonna play out. As someone who's not even the biggest fan of Warzone, but this does actually reinvigorate some interest for me in like Warzone and just the genuine curiosity of how these two different games with essentially different engines and like intricacies are gonna actually play together with Warzone and how they're actually gonna meld. So, man, it's like now the more I'm thinking about it, it's like hard to fathom. But I mean, they clearly have something already planned and set in mind, since I believe the first season of this will drop in December. You know, understandably so after Cold War has some time to breathe, people can play the campaign as well as you know, get their feet wet in the multiplayer. So yeah, it's weird. And I guess apparently Prestige is gonna be back. And then it's the whole factor of how that's gonna work out. So at least how they're making it seem is that Prestige will transcend both Cold War and Modern Warfare. So now they'll both have the traditional Prestige system now, I guess. It's just, it's like it answers, yeah, it's basically back to what I was saying. It like answers a lot of questions and presents a lot more. um, yeah. It is weird. Let me look more into this just to. So the battle pass system, and that's another thing too, with how they're still integrating Modern Warfare. It's like for the battle pass system, like what season will Modern Warfare be? Will it be technically for Modern Warfare season 7, and then for Cold War season 1? And then they somehow meld, or will it be like for Cold War, it'll be that would just be weird. Cold War would be season 7 because Modern Warfare was season already started the seasons. That's just a little confusing, but I mean, considering how Modern Warfare, I think the season ending lines up with December 1st of season 1 for Cold War. I guess they did say that. So that's going to be a little confusing, at least specifically for somebody who plays, who's going to play Modern Warfare and Cold War, which I do see myself doing, as well as Warzone, out of curiosity, at least for the while. And then I think there is going to be a new map too. Yeah, man. It's confusing. How is this gonna work? How will it work? So I think it's a dead given. It's gonna be a new map for Warzone. Like a new huge map that just makes sense. And then, you know, the different models, because like the Cold War people look very different to Modern Warfare people. I mean, I guess the best example might be Captain Woods, who was like, who's the pre-order bonus if you pre-order Black Ops Cold War. But yeah, I'm looking in the notes here. Player progression reset. To synchronize player progression across all 3 games, your initial military rank will be reset within Modern Warfare and Warzone at the start of Black Ops Cold War Season 1. This reset is synchronized to your current progression level when Black Ops Cold War Season 1 begins. Don't worry, only your XP is reset. Everything you previously unlocked remains available, like weapons, perks, kill streaks, and Modern Warfare, for example. So it will, I guess it's similar to how it is now, where you get reset to base 55, but I think in this case you get reset to 0 for both Modern Warfare and Cold War, and then when you get at least to the cap, which is 55, so I assume Cold War might be 55 as well, and then that's when I guess that's the way for them to unify both, which is fair since they said you keep everything. I'm totally fine with that. The seasonal prestige level, and that's what I'm very curious about. So your seasonal officer progression is now known as season levels, which incorporates a seasonal prestige leveling system. These are fully synchronized between all 3 games. As you begin season leveling, expect an updated interface to this leveling system. Seasonal progression has been updated with aspects of the traditional prestige system, allowing players to unlock and use rewards, including some incredibly cool legacy player identity identity items from the world of Black Ops. Leveling, Black Ops Cold War, Modern Warzone, or Modern Warfare all count towards your season leveling and prestige level. Preferred way to prestige is by playing Black Ops Cold War. Thanks to challenges, focus on Black Ops Cold War gameplay, XP events, other advantages playing throughout the seasons. Remember that a large portion of this content, earnable or simply free, is by playing all or 3 games. So, and I guess they're going into more detail on tomorrow at the Treyarch blog. It answers some, but not all. I guess, yeah, it's just a matter of having to, play the game to get a better idea. Yeah. This is definitely interesting to see how it all plays though. But at least all your progress is retained, so that's cool. And then this like begs the question for Warzone though. So I mean, considering that Black Ops Cold War has been optimized for Series X, PS5, PC, of course. Obviously Warzone had to be optimized as well. So does that mean that Modern Warfare will also get upgraded, get the Series X, PS5 upgrade treatment? I feel like that's a given at this point, considering this, especially if what's essentially the same engine is going to be, bundled with Black Ops Cold War. So that's good to know, since personally, as someone who's maybe not a, I guess, super, I don't know. I play Call of Duty pretty heavily. I can at least say that. I don't want to say hardcore. I mean, I play it. I played each season except for Zero. In terms of completing the challenges and stuff. So I personally, as being a pretty big fan of Modern Warfare, I would definitely love to see it get the upgrade treatment. I think they will probably hold it until the initial release of Cold War comes out, and then I think then we'll probably get news about like next gen upgrades for Modern Warfare, because that only makes sense to me, considering all this will work in conjunction with Cold War as well. So it only makes sense. May not be as big or notable, but I mean, just like 120 FPS, that's good enough for me on next gen consoles. I'd be down. Of course, other improvements as well. So either way, pretty cool to hear. But yeah, just the the engine being the same and not changing Warzone for like in favor of Cold War to change that's pretty huge. It's pretty crazy. So I mean, the game can back it up though, because the game is really good and fun and tight and like visceral, which personally I'm digging a lot. So yeah, man, I'm just very fascinated to see how it plays out. Really, this is probably gonna be like the dawn of a whole new like model now, which is pretty cool. It seems pretty sound when you think about it. They have a free option for people to get their feet wet, as well as play with people who paid for the multiplayer and the and Cold War as well. So it's a pretty solid plan. Just curious to see where, because I think we all know there's going to be some cracks somewhere where they may lie with this, but in due time they'll probably iron everything out. But it's going to be probably some weird, interesting patches, if anything. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. When Cold War drops, or when this drops in December. I think in December when Warzone drops is when we'll probably hear about Modern Warfare getting next gen upgrades. That would only make sense. The luster of Cold War maybe dies down a bit, and in line with it, to kind of maybe subdue the Modern Warfare next gen announcement. It'll keep Cold War at the forefront to kind of put that more in favor. But it's a pretty nice balance and pretty cool like median to kind of meet both I guess technically opposing games and kind of merge them together. I guess it's kind of like they're trying to do the same. I guess it's kind of like they're doing the console version of Call of Duty Mobile when you think about it. So I am down. Sign me up. Moving on. Sony. Sony ain't playing, man. Sony trying to buy Crunchyroll for over $957 million. Had to do it. So this was via Nikkei Asia. 100 billion. So according to them, the source, they believe the cost will be over 100 billion, which translates to 957 million US dollars. So this comes as Sony obtained the exclusive right to negotiate for the popular anime streaming service. So I heard that they were on the rocks in general, which I believe this is what it's alluding to. Crunchyroll was founded in 2006, and now 70 million free members, 3 million subscribers. AT&T became its parent company in 2018. Earlier this year, it was reported that AT&T was rumored to be looking to sell Crunchyroll to Sony for, at that time, $1.5 billion. So I feel like that's definitely going to be happening. Man, and especially considering how I think it's pretty safe to say how Japanese centric PlayStation has always been. So especially with the Japanese market being like I think it might be between Nintendo and Sony, but in general, it's been probably the most successful in Japan when it comes to that. So it only makes sense for them to acquire Crunchyroll. I'm curious what this means for other platforms like Xbox One and I think 360 have Crunchyroll apps, even though to be honest, they kind of trash. At least some of the issues I've had so far, but I'm curious if this goes through, if Sony will stop supporting the other consoles, or kind of take the Outer Worlds route where Xbox had bought Obsidian, but they released the Outer Worlds on PS5 or PS4. So I'm curious if to not lose out on customers / subscribers, if they're gonna maybe keep that and just have have their service on their competing platform. So that's interesting, but it definitely makes sense. Hopefully it is nothing that gets nasty in terms of exclusivity and stuff like that, or timed exclusivity with Crunchyroll premieres and stuff is maybe delayed 24 hours and you can't watch it until you watch it on Xbox or something like that. I mean, you can't watch it if you don't have a PS4 or 5 or PlayStation family console, which would suck. Hopefully they don't do that, but you never know. I mean, 957 million. You don't just put all your stuff everywhere for that much money. I don't know, but we'll see. Interesting stuff though. It also is good to see Crunchyroll is still thriving and not at risk where with that acquisition thing, it would seem to have been before. So moving on. Keeping in line with PlayStation news, for PlayStation 5, it's been reported by IGN Italy that it won't support 1440p. So for most people, this will affect is people who exclusively play their consoles on a monitor. Most likely the very competitive people, or people who just don't want to shell out money for a TV, which is totally understandable too. So kind of sucks. So what this, at least my interpretation of this is, what this means is that if you have a max 1440p monitor, it'll probably knock down the resolution to 1080p, and 1080p 60 120, depending on your monitor, of course. But it'll more than likely knock down your resolution at 1080p. So I think technically you will be able to play on that your whatever monitor if it's 1440p and doesn't support 4K, but yeah, you won't be getting the most out of it. If this is any indication, if you have a max 1440p monitor, we'll see if it seems like something that could be like a firmware update / patch. I would assume. I don't think it's that out of the question to implement that. It doesn't seem like a hardware related type deal. So, and the Xbox One I think supports 1440p, I believe, as well. So I don't think it's too out of the question or unrealistic to have that implemented down the road. But at least during the release, people that 1440p crew will be a little let down. It's sad. It sucks, but I mean, even though most people probably either have I can't even say that. I think a good amount of people do have 1440p monitors. I mean, nobody makes a 1440p TV, but basically this is more for monitor people, but TV people should be good. So keeping in line and keeping that damn PS5 train going. Chee chee. It gets me every time. I'm sorry. Resident Evil Village came out with some more details regarding PS5 features exclusively for PS5. Stunning visuals. Explore Resident Evil Village's beautiful yet terrifying vistas and locales in 4K with ray tracing. Fast loading. Instantly pick up right where you left off with almost no load times, thanks to the power of the PS5 console's ultra high-speed SSD. I'm sorry. I'm trying. Adaptive triggers. Feel the weight and pull of weapon triggers for an even more immersive experience. That's what I wanted. Haptic feedback. Simulate the feeling of firing a real gun with haptic feedback. Tempest 3D audio tech compatible headphones. Surround yourself with the carefully crafted music and sounds of survival horror in Resident Evil Village. 3D audio enhances the experience by making you feel the hair-raising sounds coming from every direction. So, doesn't confirm 4K 60. So, it does have a little asterisk here. Dynamic 4K and HDR compatible, or dynamic 4K and HDR require compatible 4K and HDR compatible TV or display. So, a bit of a bummer. Maybe they're still developing. They got some time. They didn't give us a date in 2021. I would assume January, going by previous history. Maybe February, maybe April. Who knows? But pretty cool to get some confirmed details. Yeah, I don't know. If I'm getting an itch. Well, Resident Evil feels like a game you always want to associate. It's one of those games you just associate with one console or another for some reason, even though they are multi-platform. But if there's obviously a big advantage on a different competing platform, then you would play it on that other platform. But for this, it's just that PS5 is just speaking to me. Unless Xbox can bring the heat somehow, but PS5 is speaking to me. I think specifically with the adaptive triggers, I feel like at least what everybody's been hyping that up to be, I think it's gonna be that might be like literal game changer in terms of like, man, I mean I want to play on the Xbox Series X, but like if it got adaptive triggers, I might just play it on that. I think it might actually, depending on how immersive it feels, I might that actually would, I think, potentially teeter me over one side over the other, unless Xbox comes out with their, oh man, that would be the perfect damn storm. I just had an epiphany. So the Xbox, we have the Xbox Elite Series 2 that came out last year, right? So of course, with the new next generation and considering the Xbox Series controller, Xbox Elite Series 2 controller doesn't have the share button like the Series X controller will. I think, and it would be a pretty smart idea for them to implement adaptive triggers, shamelessly to their console and their next Elite Series 3 controller, where you have the same great build and feel of a Series 2 controller with the added share button as well as the adaptive triggers, and probably some other cool maybe feature that might attempt to trump over the PS5 controller. I could totally see that happening. Yeah, especially since PS5, just revealed the triggers. People, I've been looking up YouTube videos of people straight up dissecting the PS5 controllers to give you a concept of the tech of the adaptive triggers and stuff. Which, by the way, is some pretty creative ingenuity in terms of like just how, just creative they considered if the adaptive triggers break somehow, but if it does, it'll still be serviceable as a traditional like trigger, that's just fascinating to me. It really is. So all in all, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Keeping in line with PS5 news. I'm sorry. Cheer. Cheer. Demon Souls, going back to the PS5's implementation of the interface for help, where if you run into like run into a wall with like a particular level board aspect boss in a game, going by the PS5's user interface, you can simply quickly, and that's probably the more important part, which would I think give it the nod over other stuff like just simply looking it up online on a phone or computer. That basically there will be 180 videos that will be ingrained or implemented in PS5's help interface for Demon Souls. So, I mean, you really at this point will have no reason to get good, of course. So, but it's pretty crazy just the amount of support that at least this game is given to PS5's help interface, cuz at least I think we talked last episode, I feel like this might seem like a feature that might be it might stick for like maybe a year or two and then just slowly drift away, is what I felt like. At least initially it seemed like it would be, but it was very dependent on how much support it gets, especially I think from like third party developers for the PS5. I think that's gonna probably be the make or break for this feature, if it, in terms of the staying power and of it. But we'll see. But this is definitely at least a good, kickoff for like a game that of which you most likely would use this pretty heavily. Personally, I mean, I've already played the original game, so I don't think I would maybe. I actually no, I take that back. Actually, I would just out of curiosity, to get a better idea of how it works for maybe future games where I'm definitely blind playing it. Where this one it's not as big of a sense of blindness playing this, as I have a pretty recent frame of reference. If you check out my shameless plug Demon Souls playthrough on youtube.com/aswitch, where I did actually play the original Demon Souls back in 2018. It's just crazy. It doesn't feel that long ago, but yeah. So I'll be struggling, but I made it through ultimately. I forgot how many total deaths, but I did have a death counter in the playthrough also. So yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of people will definitely be using this, especially newcomers that may have not played Demon Souls, especially, or even a Soul. God forbid, if you have never played a Soulsborne game before, definitely gonna be using this heavily, man. Which is when I think about it, it's pretty ingenious. They that they at least got this game out on launch to maybe give them a better idea and I guess test bed to kind of maybe further refine the help feature, maybe see what people are using, what people aren't. Man, that is pretty damn smart. Damn, good on you, Sony. You creative. You creative. I know you are. I know you are. So, yeah. I think that pretty much covers the news for this week. So I guess we'll get on to what I've been playing. Firstly, let me take a sip. Modern Warfare. You already know. So, finished my challenges last night. Season 6 challenges, and hit the max rank or cap for this season also, which I guess obviously you couldn't do without doing that. So what else? I mean, Modern Warfare, it's great. Again, we're getting very close to what feels like the end of Modern Warfare, obviously considering that all the focus and support will go towards Cold War after it. But, hey, it is good to see that Modern Warfare will be getting somewhat supported. Well, it's hard to, I guess, fathom what that's going to look like, and if Modern Warfare will be getting any, maybe, I guess I doubt any new guns or anything. But maybe some other miscellaneous stuff that might be worthwhile. I'm trying to think what that would look like. But I guess ultimately, new content, I don't know. A part of me likes to think that maybe they'll still, really improve this game, kind of like Fortnite, where they, it just is, an ongoing game. And then, maybe around next year, it will probably maybe be Fortnite 2 Season 2 or something, which I think it would be a kind of cool workaround to avoid the inevitable confusion of Modern Warfare 2. It's what well, I guess they probably do what they do now, Modern Warfare 2 2020, they put the year to kind of differentiate it from the original games. So that's a possibility too. So I didn't think about that. But yeah. But let me tell you, I feel like feel like a damn Mormon, a damn Mormon with the the button up shirt, button up white shirt and tie, riding around and bike. Let me tell you about No More Heroes. So yeah, your boy was pretty hyped last episode, since Suda 51 just dropping bombs out of nowhere. So your boy got it. I played it pretty much pretty much since I think right after recording and finishing up that last week's episode. And man, it is pretty great. Pretty great. It's so great to play this in 1080p 60 FPS. It's at least TLDR is really good, really good. A couple of downsides, which I think can be solved in like a future patch update. One is the motion controls. So at least at first playing it, and I was like talking a little bit about it on Twitter too, that the controls felt really good, but then after playing it for a while, it felt too inconsistent / inaccurate for me, to the point where it got really frustrating to where I actually switched to controller. So, and I surprisingly actually like controller. So I know it's a first for the first No More Heroes to be have controller support. The second one did have controller support on the Wii U, or Wii/Wii U, I guess technically. You just had to plug in a Pro controller. I think they still called it a Pro controller back then. But yeah, either way, you plugged in the Pro controller into the Wiimote sensor or Wiimote butt. And basically I'm pretty sure the controls were just like how they were now. But I was very much a purist when it came to No More Heroes, especially on the Wii. Where I'm like, no, that's not how you play it. The only option is motion. So that's how I always played. I dabbled with it a bit on No More Heroes 2, but not to the extent where like, oh yeah, this is better. No, it's something very, what's the word? Tangible, engaging, and immersive about playing with a Wiimote nunchuck combo, where it's just those death blows. I'm not sure of the official term, but those death blows with the swipes and stuff, they just feel that more fulfilling when you are just doing the motion, specifically like you're actually Travis Touchdown, like you actually have a beam katana. So there is that. But I'd say one difference that I think does help with and makes the controller more appealing this go around is that one, it's, and that's I guess it's I guess it's just a credit to the or discredit to the Wii setup, where of having to connect connect a controller to a Wii, and then you have this weird indifference of this like Wii mode that you're not using, that you have to like generally just more than likely keep on your lap, and it just is weird. You don't have the rumble, so all that just didn't really sell me on playing on controller, at least specifically for No More Heroes 2, if I were to. But considering the circumstances this go around with the Switch version, it feels more engaging, with just the motions of using the analog sticks. as well as when you charge your controller. I refuse to use the right analog stick. If you shake the controller in a very suggestive motion, you will actually charge it that way. So that's a pretty great compromise, I'd say. So that actually, yeah, like halfway through, because yeah, I was pretty frustrated with the motion controls for the Switch. And this is my first time playing a game with motion controls. So it was pretty disappointing in that respect. But it doesn't feel like it can't be like updated with a patch. And what I mean by that is, at least specifically playing, I technically tried both. I was on one, but I tried a bit of um, two, but it felt like just roughly the same. It felt like when the motions and prompts would come up. So for those that may not know, like whenever when playing the game, you you have a high stance and low stance, and basically whenever you're hitting the A button, at least with the Wii, technically, that's how it was. And depending on whatever stance you were, which is dictated by how you have the Wiimote position, as well as it pretty much applies the same for the Switch. If you have the Switch up or down, it kind of detects roughly in the same way, which that aspect was pretty reliable. I never had any issues with that specifically. But when you have it set that way, depending on whatever stance you are, high or low, it modifies how your combo is basically. So pretty much, at least how that's translated to the controller is high is I. It's hard to remember the controller. High is X, low is Y, and then the beat up attacks or punch attacks, which are basically how you grab the people to do like the dope ass wrestling moves, are A and B. The high grab and low grab, A and B. So you have that, and then which is fine. And I guess when I'm translating my head to controller, it does make sense and it feels good. But if I had the choice, I think I ultimately would still prefer motion. But it's just like the inputs would be like 70 for like the motion swipes. It would be like roughly 70% accurate. Like, it would work a lot of the time, but those rare cases, and those were like some like critical, essential scenarios, it would not. And then I would lose boss battles because of it. Then the other scenario was the shaking motions, where you're suggestively shaking, and not like a suggestive way that I would know about at all, but that was like 50 to 40%, because like you would shake to try to match the motion, and it would barely respond to it. And mind you, I was shaking like vigorously, like somebody would be concerned if they caught me shaking. What are you doing now? So and then again, that was like during critical boss battles, where like you be this one boss where it's like you're put in a predicament. I don't want to spoil it. You're put in a predicament where you have to do that motion a lot to get out of a insta kill scenario, essentially. And then if you don't, that's it. You have to start the whole boss battle again, which is what exactly happened. So I was like, you know what? After messing with the controls, I'm like, yeah, I am definitely gonna go back. So there was that. And then there's a secret move you get in the game. I guess technically both, really. And I could barely ever get that off. That was like 10% chance of me actually getting that off, which what makes it worse is that compared to the Wii version, it was pretty reliable. I never really had I never had a scenario where like I was frustrated with the game because my inputs wouldn't work or come off, which is definitely the case with this version, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, it is at least a good consolation that at least the Pro controller works really well, and I assume the if you have the Joy Cons in non-motion mode, where everything just automatically translates to traditional controls like a Pro controller too. So, yeah, just a big disappointment. But again, I think with some tweaking like on the back end in terms of a patch update, I think if they make things more lenient or make the controls more just accurate, which it feels like it could be, I think the motion controls could be saved potentially. So we'll see if that happens. I think the developer Engine Software, they actually did this port, which, I mean, all things considered, they did a really good job overall. I'm not. This is not to dunk on the game at all, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. Playing with the Pro controller, but it is a big disappointment with with how iconic this game was for the Wii, especially using the motion controls, which is in of itself a gimmick, or seen as very gimmicky, and actually making it work was one of the biggest things that I think really sold really made No More Heroes a really awesome game, and one of my favorite games of all time. I could definitely comfortably say that. I want to say series because it's hard to like choosing between children. I feel like between 1 and 2. So I guess that's the thing we can get into too, real quick. Between 1 and 2, it's hard, and so 1 I do like a lot for its just story, vibes, and personality, which I feel like it has more of than 2. But I think 2 has a lot more way better gameplay elements and progression and just overall convenience than 1. The story was pretty decent, not as good as the first one in a lot of respects, but it's hard because I think I'm doing unfair things to it in my head, if that makes sense. But I guess one of my gripes specifically with 2 is the music, and that's specifically regarding there are like a fair amount of moments in the game where there is like long stretches of fighting people where it's just no music at all, which it's like at times you think it is like intentional, but other times you feel like, is this like a bug or something? Like I don't think you should feel like when you're playing that there should be music here, if that makes sense. And that's what I felt like. I felt like some of the moments I was playing where there are long stretches of no music, it felt like it would have made sense to put music there to make you maybe feel some type of way, more heighten the senses, make things more just cool, I guess. I don't know. But that was one gripe I had. I mean, it's kind of subjective, because I mean, I would assume somebody else who's maybe a fan of No More Heroes 2, maybe that didn't bother them at all, So there's that. You just get a minute vibe that there isn't as much personality, pizzazz, like vibe. What's the word? Like essence, personality. Yeah, pretty much all of the above. You don't feel as much. Yeah, just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I guess personality, but you know what I mean. Like, just not sincerity, but like, just some umph, some uniqueness, just basically, which is basically what I got from No More Heroes 1, which is why I think for all intents and purposes, I would slightly put 1 above 2, but from a gameplay perspective, I will put 2 over 1. That makes sense, because I think 2 does a really good job of improving a lot of elements and doing a lot of logical improvements from 1 to make things more accessible and more like engaging and fun from a gameplay standpoint. Specifically, like Travis being able to do combos with the melee buttons now, which you can only do like 1 or 2 hits, and then you're trying to grab the person. So it's things like that. The additional weapons that you get in No More Heroes 2, and the fact that they aren't like instantly irrelevant when you get a new weapon. For 1, that felt kind of like the case. You could technically still use all 4 of the weapons, and they had their strengths, but then you had the caveat of where you had to go. You couldn't do it during battles. You couldn't switch between weapons during battles, which in 2 you can, and it's pretty cool. It would be cool if you can like switch weapons mid battle, like during combat, which I kind of hope and suspect that No More Heroes 3 will. That seems to be the next logical step to help like kind of maybe freshen up the combat system into, and like at least separate it from I don't know, separate it from the other ones, really. You know what I mean? So I don't know. How's it going, Ryla? What's up? What's up? Yeah, so I mean, I definitely recommend it if you've never played No More Heroes 1 and 2. I highly recommend the series for sure. I think Pro Controller is the way to go for now. Hopefully they do like patch and update the motion controls to make them more fun on the Switch, but as of now, I would not recommend it. It's a bit frustrating, but who knows? Maybe your mileage may vary. Maybe just motion controls don't like black people. I don't know. It's a baseless assumption, but you get what I'm saying. I in general I don't think they work. So then Ghost of Tsushima was playing a little bit of that last night with some friends, and that's been pretty cool. The hooks are starting to get in there a little bit. We'll see. It's just so many other games. I don't know if I want to dedicate all my time for that, and then like the raids and stuff, and like it's just giving me like Destiny flashbacks, which I'm having painful memories about with Destiny. Even though I say that, but I've never done a raid, which I'm just hearing people like spending 8 hours doing one raid is like, ugh. It's one thing, I guess, if it's World of Warcraft, where I feel like it's maybe not as, I don't know. It's hard to describe. Either way, I don't know. Just Destiny just left a bad taste in my mouth, I guess. I don't know. Even though, I mean, I've never played the second one, but if the first one's any indication, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to do all that again. So, and also I feel like any Destiny fan you talk to, it's like it always seems to be a love-hate relationship. It's like, man, this game is horrible. I don't recommend you play it. I was playing it for like 20 hours the other day, though. I'm like, what? How does that work? All right. So, you know. Yeah, I think Destiny is interesting. Don't get me wrong. I love Bungie. I mean, they made one of my favorite games of all time, series of all time, a Halo, and I liked Destiny for a lot of things. It's just a lot of other things I had to gripe with. I guess just trying to mend and blend a shooter with MOBA aspects just didn't. Something about a shooter being grindy after, admittedly playing majority of it. I don't think I played like all the expansions and stuff, but something about that just didn't s- blend sit right with me. I didn't want to do. I don't know. I feel like it's some genres you're fine with being grinding with, and then others it's just like I don't really feel like it. I don't know. That's at least kind of the feeling I had. But yeah, it's funny. Yeah, Destiny is very passionate, but they hate it, but they play it at the same time, which is funny to me. But I mean, I get it. It's I get it. I get it. Who knows? Maybe with this next update with Destiny, I might stick the toe in a little bit. See if the water ain't cold enough. I don't know. We'll see. Um, yeah. So outside of that, that's all of what I've been playing lately. Media wise, The Mandalorian. Okay, okay, I gotta do it. Dun, 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 dun. I'm sorry. That had to have been done. That was mandatory. So Mandalorian episode 1, season 2. Watched it last Friday. It was great. It was great. Mind you, this is somebody who's maybe not the biggest Star Wars fan. I like watched all the main Star Wars movies, but I wouldn't consider myself a big fan. I mean, I even played the what was the one Star Wars game? Something Jedi. Star Wars Jedi, The Lost Jedi, The Last Jedi, I think. No, that's the movie. Star Wars. Let me look it up. Star Wars video game. That's gonna kill me. The Fallen Jedi. No, the Fallen Order. The Fallen Order. So, yeah. So I mean, I like the first season of Mandalorian. It was pretty engaging. I'm not like super big in the lore or anything. I'm never gonna claim that, but I roughly know a lot of the references and stuff like that. So I definitely got a kick out of it as somebody who's not like a big Star Wars fan who watches like literally every Star Wars thing or Star Wars media. This was pretty good. So with that in mind, I was like, yeah, let me go into season 2. You got Baby Yoda. He's so cute. Oh, little Baby Yoda. And yeah, man. I say we can get into spoiler territory. It's episode 1. Spoilers. Star Wars Mandalorian episode 1. So I say it's safe to just go right to it. But man, episode. So at the end, of course, probably the biggest reveal ever. Well, there was a couple of reveals. So first, you have the episode of what's his name? I forgot his name. But basically, he's I think he was in the books or something like that. I at least do my research. I was doing some research. He was like, I guess this big character from the books, or one book in particular, book series, and he had the Boba Fett armor. So people were like, at first I was like, I don't know. I was kind of mildly spoiled on Twitter looking at everything, and I was like, hey, is that Boba Fett? Is he gonna be in the next episode of Mandalorian? Sure enough, he was. I'm like, well, that would have been a nice surprise. But wait, there's more. When he was coming in, he looked a little off. I'm like, he looked a little like lanky, look a little lanky for Boba Fett. And sure enough, well, at first he took his helmet off, and I'm like, I don't think that's Boba Fett, unless he's like a new character that took his armor, which is technically what it was in retrospect. So basically, I guess the generally basic plot of the episode was that they wanted the Mandalorian wanted the guy's Boba Fett armor for his clan, basically, and the deal was to get rid of the, I guess, monster that was terrorizing everything, and he would give the armor back. Graphic novel, okay, yeah, that shows my knowledge, but yeah. So all that said, the worm was defeated and whatever, and uh Cobb held to his word and gave um Mando his Boba Fett armor. So then they're on their merrily way, and then driving back, and then what do you know? Um, I guess it is room for subjectivity, but I think it's pretty certain that that's Boba Fett. Especially, at least I was just nerding out and looking up some theories on what could have happened, how he survived, and how the Vaskarian armor it can defend against that acid. So technically, he could have made it out. And no, it's not Boba Fett. It's not Boba Fett. I mean, but they're clones. It's clones. I mean, they proved they were clones. So, and the same actor that was cloned is actually the actor that's. I okay. I understand that it is a lot of room that could not be Boba Fett. I can definitely agree with that. It just they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. That's all I'm saying. They knew the speculation and yeah, just the speculation they were trying to muster, I'm just saying. I don't know. The scarring, it's like but I understand. It could totally not be him. It could be a clone of, yeah, it would be kind of a letdown. I would just say because of what it was kind of implied, but I do want to fight if you want. I could throw these hands any day. Parking lot, anytime. I'm just saying. Anyway, so curious to see episode 2, whenever that premieres. I'm looking forward to it. I'm involved, if anything. I'm engaged. I'm invested. Whoever this person is, I want to know. So, good job, Disney Plus. You've sold me. You got your hooks in. Moving on to another show that got my hooks in, Slam Dunk. So, technically, even though the seasons are a little weird, I'm technically on season 2. Even though the season breakage is weird, I guess maybe they just do it in Crunchyroll, but basically got past to where Shohoku defeated Shoyu to qualify for the district championships, and Sakuragi finally it was pretty fulfilling, I'm not gonna lie. Finally dunked, and he dunked on him, even though he fouled out the game on that dunk. But I mean, it did feel fulfilling. And then all the crowd was like cheering him on and cheering his name, Sakuragi, for the first time ever. I ain't gonna lie, I got choked up. Some tears came out. I'll admit it. Some tears came out. I got a little emotional because I rooted for him, Sakuragi. He's learning, trying to find his way, and trying to impress what's her name, Haruka, and I was like, go ahead, Sakuragi, you gonna do it, man. So, and then they won on top of that. So that felt that was a great payoff. I am not gonna lie. A lot of build up the whole season, especially season 1, but it feels like now things are starting to pay off, especially as we see like the tournaments take place and things like that. So Yeah, I'm invested. I'm invested. So all in all, I think that's pretty much it. I think that'll conclude episode 80 Switches Sites podcast. If you did enjoy this podcast and would like to support the podcast, feel free to like, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff on your popular podcasting platforms. If you want to catch this show live, you can on Twitch TV/ASwitch. Generally, ideally, between 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, if all the stars align, which in some cases doesn't happen, but you know, hey. You can also catch archives of the show on youtube.com/ASwitch, where ideally, maybe I like to stream other stuff when I'm in the mood for it. I don't put pressure on myself to do it, but you know, hey, there's that too. Till next time, don't cough, don't touch people that don't want to be touched. Get your game on. Oh yeah.
Nobody's safe.